All right. Segment number 4 for our preseason video, and we are talking about the coaching and front office. Now, we kind of were talking getting into this in the end of the goaltending part where I think it's more my fault. I went off on a tangent, but that's okay. And this year, the Sens, they don't have a lame duck coach. There's no DJ Smith left. There's no fire DJ. No Brady Kachuk complaining about fans booing DJ Smith. You don't have Jacques Martin leading the team, but everyone knowing he's just there for half a year. You have Travis Green at the helm, and that's how it's going to be for at least the next 2-3 years, at least, I would imagine. So I'll kick it off to you first, Matt. How do you feel about the coaching staff as it was before and how it is now?
Well, I've watched a couple preseason games here and there, and I remember one of my first thoughts being, "Damn, this looks significantly more structured than DJ Smith hockey." Um, and obviously it's the preseason, but I think the guys are buying into what Green has to say. One thing you hear a lot is firm but fair. And it really makes me think like he is a tough guy, but he's not wrong in his toughness, but he might just be really tough. So I'm I remember our Travis Green has been hired as the NHL or the Ottawa Senators head coach video and just panning it. I thought it was stupid. Um, at the same time, I think anybody is going to be better than DJ Smith. Um, but for me, I look at how good the power play has looked so far. The penalty kill has looked pretty good. All of this is just watching preseason, obviously. Um, and I've liked quite a few things. But the bar was on the floor because I was one of the firmest and loudest DJ Smith haters, and for good friggin' reason. I don't think he should ever be an NHL head coach again, unless it is a team that has direction of up, but not for a couple of years. Develop your stars, develop your young players because he's good at that. But don't ask the guy for structure. Don't ask the guy for defensive systems because there are none.
I'm
Um,
surprised Bennett didn't interject there and try and one up you about being the biggest DJ hater because I don't know. I think he has you beat.
I was a
uh,
DJ apologist for a long time. Like
yeah, no, nobody was a bigger hater than
Nave was
me.
way ahead of that trend
Yeah,
before me.
yeah.
Fair enough.
He put some respect on his name. He
Thank
hated
you.
DJ for longer and harder than I did.
If you ever want something to rival Bennett's hatred of Jonas Corpusalo, it is my hatred of DJ Smith.
Yeah.
Um, seems like a really great guy. Don't get me wrong, but
Hmm.
not a good NHL coach. And Travis Green now has a good roster. He didn't have a good one in Vancouver, and he still made the playoffs with them. What did they have at the time? A good goalie. So I'm hopeful that we have a lot of things that would suggest that our team could succeed. And I really hope that Travis Green and his coaching staff can help get the Sens to that next level. Um, and honestly, just getting us out of November with a winning record. I think if we're there, everything's coming up Millhouse.
Noted. All right. Well, I mean, we've talked coaching. I think we've seen Travis Green's camps. He puts people through the ringer, but I think it's good that he does that because I don't know, DJ Smith camps. I don't think they were necessarily easy, but I don't think that they put the guys through their paces, right? And I think you look at Travis Green's camps and Yeah, they look a lot more intense. For FanFest, a lot of fans got to see the open practice, and you could tell that the guys were hustling, pushing. There were a lot of videos that were posted to social media by different reporters who were in the building, and you could see certain guys were just like gassed and just not wanting to go another step, or just seemed exhausted. And a lot of them also said that this season or off season, they really kept themselves in shape because they were anticipating a hard camp and wanted to come into the season stronger and like ready to go because they're sick of losing. And man, I hope that pushed them. I hope that now Shabbat, Norris, and Stutzla have all overcome their different upper body ailments, and we can just get this thing rolling because my God, it has been too long without Sens playoff hockey. Uh, like by the time the playoffs come around for this season, it'll be 8 years since they've been there. So something needs to be done. All right. The boys need to get her done. And how does this have anything to do with coaching front office? Well, I'm hoping that Travis Green can get the boys to get it done. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I think that Travis Green, like you guys, I was a little soft on his hire when it happened. I felt that there were better coaches out there. Hearing what came out of the Sens exit interviews in hindsight and thinking about it a little more, I think that having someone who is a little firmer and who holds players accountable, and you heard that come up a lot in his press conference when the team announced that they had signed him as their new coach. So I think that's going to be a strong theme heading into the season. We're probably going to hear it a lot from the players and from the coaching staff and from the team leaders. And I think it can be a good thing. This team has a lot of talent, and if it can gel in the right way and come together at the right times, they can definitely accomplish something. It's just a question of, if Green is the right guy to make that happen, and we hope that he is, because like you say, it's been a long time since we've had Senators playoff games to discuss, and not even our podcast because we didn't exist, but just we as Senators fans in general had playoff games to discuss. And I think that the front office is a lot stronger than it's been going into this previous seasons. Staios seems to be a reasonable GM. There's smart people in the VP positions across the way. And I think that there's something, I think that they can get it done, and I think that they can support this team to get better and grow stronger. It's just a case of whether it's enough, and we're going to have to wait and see.
I think the one thing that gives me confidence is that it seems like management is not afraid to change things up when need be. Whether it's Michael Andlauer at the top, just straight up calling stuff out, love that. Whether it's Staios being blunt, whatever it is, like it seems like they really want to change the outlook of this team. And that's something that I don't think we truly had before. Like there was the talk, but it didn't feel convincing. It felt like,
Yeah.
well, it'll be in the vision of what we think needs to happen to get this team to the playoffs. But I'm not saying that you shouldn't have player loyalty because obviously that's important, but it seems like they were really hesitant to let go of certain players because of
Yeah.
preconceived notions of how they perform and this, that, and the other thing. But anyway, I think with this new crew, it's there's a lot more reason to be optimistic. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah. And I think, I spoke about Travis Green, but it really does seem like Staios got his ducks in a row. He filled the positions he thought necessary to fill. Obviously, the most important one being getting a starting goalie who can actually stop some friggin' pucks. And get rid of some silly contracts in Corpusalo, because my oh my, um, that was masterful work.
Yeah, there's not. I was amazed that he was able to pull off that deal.
Yeah, I think that goes a long way, because it shows that he's versatile and he can, stick handle in a telephone booth type deal. Um, I think he could have made a couple more adjustments, but at the same time, like he was a bit cap hamstrung. And that's challenging. So I think he is going to work with what we have. Obviously, this coming season is going to be crucial for showing that we can take that next step. And when Allmark does eventually sign, we'll have the cap space to make it happen because the cap's going to be going up another 4 million, I believe. And with him, Giroux, and
Greg.
I think Greg essentially needing to be signed this coming off season, all of that cap space will really, most of it will be going to him. So yeah, I think he's already done some tidy bit of business. He just needs to show that he can make it count when it's really getting to crunch time.
Now we've talked about the coaching and front office. We've talked about, forwards, defense, goaltending, all that stuff. What are your guys' final thoughts when you look at how the roster has been constructed over the offseason? When you look at how the lines are starting to take shape now, we're starting to see what that final opening day roster is going to be. How are you guys feeling about this season going forward, and what the results will be? And maybe I'll start with Bennett.
I think that this team will definitely be better than it was last year. I think that the forward core on paper looks better to me. The goaltending looks way better. Defense, I think, is maybe taking a sideways step. I don't know that it's necessarily better. I don't think that it's necessarily worse, but I don't think it got better. But I think that we have, again, low bar, a better coach, and we have a competent front office that knows what needs to be done to help make this team successful. So I think this team will be better. I think that our points percentage will go up, and I think that we'll win more games we're supposed to win and lose fewer games that we're and lose fewer games, period. I just don't know if it'll be enough to turn us into a playoff team in one season from where we were to where we are. I think that we'd just be counting on a lot of different things going right at the same time. And we've alluded to some of those throughout this episode. We're saying that we need a healthy Josh Norris who can recapture his scoring form from a couple of years ago. That's a tough sell. We need Jensen to bounce back and be an effective D partner for Chabot, who also needs to bounce back, and Stützle needs to bounce back, and Brady needs to keep doing what he was doing, and Giroux needs to fight off Father Time, who still is undefeated. And we need to sign Allmark, because if we don't, we have to trade him, and then we don't have a competent goalie to back him up. There's just so many things that could go wrong. And I think that we'd be basically counting all the stars aligning for this team to go from being what we were last year to a playoff team, let alone a contender. I think it's going to take more than what Staios has had time to do. And I'm not 100% sure what it's going to take. Having a long-term competent goalie would definitely be one of the things. Locking up, our long-term defense top pairings into the future and knowing who those guys are on Sanderson and Chabot's other sides would probably do it. And, filling in some of the depth pieces up front and having them, establish themselves as consistent performers. So it's a lot. It's a big ask. I think there's a lot of good things to be excited about heading into the season, but I, me, would want to temper expectations and say I think that if you're expecting us to go from where we were last year to making the playoffs and maybe doing some damage, I would just say pump the brakes and take this season as a transition that last season should have been, and go from there.
How about yourself, Nate? How are you feeling?
You mentioned the stars needing to align this season, and last year There wasn't even a night sky that had stars in it. Everything that could possibly go wrong, in my opinion, did go wrong. You had consistent injuries to your back end. You had injuries to your star player in Tim Stützle. Your goaltending forgot how to stop pucks most of the nights. You went in with a lame duck coach, and there were just so many factors that season felt almost destined to fail. And then you could also look on top of that at some of the superstitious factors, the Sweden trip being one of them. And obviously, you can make jokes about it, but sports is a superstitious beast. And the last time that the Senators went to Sweden, the team literally fell apart and brought us to this point. So, you could look at it as that season that, we go trade for Matt Duchene and this, that, and the other thing, and you still have a chance. Then you go to Sweden, it's all gone. And then it's bookended by last season going to Sweden and everything going wrong. It just feels like this season is a bit of a blank slate, fresh, cleaned linen. You don't have an ownership change. You don't have a coaching change that needs to be made. You don't have goaltending being an issue going into the season after you pick up a hot goalie who finished not so hot and signed him to an absurd contract. There's so many factors that you're right. Like, you have to take it one step at a time. And I think looking at it in the scope of last year, like, sure, everything needs to go right because of how bad last year was and how many things went wrong. So I don't think it's everything needs to go right. It's just less things need to go wrong this season in order for them to make the playoffs. And I think a lot of it comes down to goaltending. And the stats, I'll bring it up every single time I can, shout it from the rooftops. We had bad luck last season. And even regardless of that, if we had just gotten league average goaltending, the Sens would have made the playoffs. And that's insane. So I will go on record, and I'm sure I have the last 2 seasons. And I'll say, yeah, the Sens are going to make the playoffs.
I'll keep it brief, boys.
Why not?
I'm saying playoffs, baby. I'm done. And if I'm done, the boys are done. All right, we're making the playoffs. Last couple seasons, I decided to go with cautious optimism. Nah, I got to put pedal to the metal, pedal to the metal. Get my metaphors correct. Get straightened out here. Baby. Metal to the pedal.
I mean, also just to say, you said, like, rubber. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. I'm like, brother, you still have the jersey.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about it. It's away. It's in there and it's hidden. It's not coming out. I actually, at the Fan Fest, I bought a new Sens away jersey from like last season, the one with the advertisement on it. So I have a new Adidas jersey. I'm going to get that bad boy outfitted with Jake Sanderson. I feel like you can't go wrong there. We're going to have new vibes. I'm feeling playoffs. There's no surprise superstitious jersey to try and kill the goalie voodoo. None of that. I'm just going into this and all gas, no brakes, baby. It's playoffs time.
Honestly, I love it.
All right. Well, on that note, thanks everybody for listening or watching to all of these episodes of the preseason that we've released over the past week or two. Really appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much. Go Sens, go. Let's friggin' get it this year. Tired of the losing. Bennett may murder someone if we have bad results again this year, and nobody wants to see that. True crime channels might want to pick that up, but here at the Senstennial, we're trying to keep things above board and out of the jail cell. So Go Sens go. Playoffs, baby.
And if anyone for the Ottawa Police Service is listening, that was a joke. I'm okay.
For legal reasons, all jokes.
All jokes aside, though,
go Sens go. I hope
go.
to be wrong. I always hope to be wrong. But expect nothing and you'll never be disappointed.
Or expect everything and just be ready to be heard again.
Somebody clip Michael Scott doing "I am ready to be heard again."
Classic.
That should be the subtitle for this episode. Ready to be heard again.
Honestly.
Senstennial season preview, ready to be heard again.
So yeah, we'll have to get Nick doing that. Put my face on Michael Scott.
There you go.
All right, everybody. Till next time. Senstennial boys out.